is 9:03 in the East, and you're locked into Doing Lines from the Let's Not Do This podcast. It is Saturday morning, in November 22nd, year of our Lord 2025. You got the big old Leon Oliver sitting alongside one of the unwisest men, Scotty Too Hottie. How are you this morning, sir?
Good betting night last night. Went 4-1 yesterday. Snapped my losing streak. Still can't give out NFL winners on the show, but yeah, we're back to what I do best: winning bets, but giving out NFL losers on the podcast.
Inching
All
along.
is right in the world. Yeah.
Inching along. Well, one thing that we got a lot of things lined up for you on this show today. We got some college football picks. We got some NFL picks. I may share our F1 thought with you as well. One thing that you won't see is us have any special teams errors, mainly because Chris isn't here. If there was someone that's going to have a special teams error, it would be him. But I think you and I can feel the punt. Florida State couldn't do that twice last night, and they couldn't make two field goals last night. And my North Carolina State Wolfpack picked up the win there. And I think you had that bet, didn't you? NC State plus the points?
I had NC State plus the points. I was a little worried that Florida State was going to tie it up and I was going to lose in overtime because for whatever reason, you guys just could not keep the ball and run the clock out. We were texting about it last night. I think there was like 3 or 4 minutes left, and y'all got the ball like 4 times. I don't know how you couldn't just take a minute off the clock and get out of there. It was crazy. You kept trying to give them every opportunity. You should have just went with the old water boy theory and at the end just down the ball and punt it because, I don't know what Florida State was doing in their punt team. The guy had like a net 0-yard punt and covered his own punt, basically, on that one.
Yeah, Newcastle shanks the ball, goes off the back of a Florida State defender's helmet, and literally the ball rolls about 20 yards back. And Newcastle, doing his best Pat McAfee in the Super Bowl impersonation, ends up recovering his own punt at that point. And that started the whole stanza there. And, of course, Florida State had a dropped interception in there along the way, too. There was just a weird, wild stretch of football to in that game there. Speaking of Pat McAfee, looks like it's raining and cold in Eugene, Oregon right now. And he's like dancing on the desk and singing because that's what he does. But yeah, wild game last night in Raleigh. So NC State getting a win there. Of course, Thursday night football you referenced. Saw that one coming. I hate being on the same side of anything with Chris, but the Bills just walked into a buzzsaw there in Houston. That defense is elite, and they are the Josh Allen kryptonite, it seems like 2 years in a row now for this Houston defense. Josh Allen, by the way, in Laramie today, they're retiring his jersey for his Wyoming Cowboys as they played Nevada. So hopefully he doesn't bring any of that bad Buffalo offensive mojo to Laramie for his pokes. We'll see if I have that game on my card. But all right, well, let's get into it, Scotty. Let's go over some picks for this week. But before we do that, let's go back and take a look at the standings. Also, Chris not with us this morning. It is getting near the holiday season. A lot of people are doing shopping and everything these days. Fast food places are going to be busy because, people are getting their food and everything. He's got to flip those burgers. So they called him in for a little overtime. So
he's not panhandling anymore?
No, it's holiday season. He managed to get a job, Okay. You ever seen that McDonald's commercial back in the days, like in the 80s? It's like, oh, Calvin got a job. It's like a kid from the neighborhood and he gets a job at McDonald's. That's Chris. He's elevated from panhandling to flipping burgers.
Chappelle Show did a skit, a parody of that. It's pretty funny.
What did Kanye say? This week I'm mopping floors. Next week it's the fries. Keep on going, Chris. You might own a McDonald's franchise one day, buddy. Probably not.
There you
go. All right, let's take a look at those standings. They're brought to you by absolutely no one. Let's take a look. College football, Scotty, you are 32, 27, and 1 on the season with that one push after winning last night with NC State. Chris and I dropped our midweek college football games, so Chris is at 28, 31, and 2, and I am bringing up the rear there at 25 and 35. 10 games under 500 at the thing I feel like I'm the best at. Just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, we'll see on this next slide. I feel the same way. NFL is supposed to be my thing, and what the hell.
Moving over, I know Chris has one more win there, but then I have one less loss, but I have the 2 pushes. I forget how they break that down winning percentage wise. He's got one more win than I do, so I put him ahead of me.
Well,
Uh,
yeah, technically y'all are tied, but
yeah.
tiebreaker will give the most wins.
So Chris said 23 and 23, 500 there in the NFL. I am 22, 22 and 2. I like twos, by the way. Could be a good thing for Austin Cindric next year in NASCAR, maybe. And then Scotty, you're bringing up the rear at 20 and 26, which, by the way, will be 2026 in just a few weeks. So you got that going for you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna have a 3-0 weekend in NFL. Let's go.
little, maybe so there. And then you are overall leading the way at 52, 53 and 1. Chris at 51, 53 and 2. And I'm bringing up the rear at 47, 57 and 2. Ugly,
Yeah,
ugly,
had
ugly
a
team.
comfortable lead on y'all all season, and then just one terrible week. It's anybody's game now.
It all comes crumbling down just like the walls of Jericho, Scotty. It's all a house of cards here on the Let's Not Do This podcast, Doing Lines edition, sir. All right, let's get into our picks for this week. These picks brought to you by absolutely no one. Of course, if you want to sponsor that or anything or be involved in any way, send an email to info@letsnotdothispodcast.com. That's info@letsnotdothispodcast.com. Help us, help you, help us, help you. All right, Chris is since he is in absentia, you want to pinch hit and give his lines first here?
Sure, why not?
All right, starting off with Christopher. I had this game on my card, pulled this game off my card when I saw it was on his. So that tells you everything you need to know about how I was feeling about it. Let's see how he feels. Noon on ABC, Missouri. Bo Prabula may be back for those fighting Missouri Tigers. 7-3 as they make the trip into Norman to take on OU. John Mateer's boys 8-2 on the season, coming off the win over Alabama. OU laying the 5.5 and the number set at 43.5. What does the man that's flipping burgers and fries say?
He likes Oklahoma, a little bit of McDonald's colors almost. Maybe that's why he picked them. Just need some blue in there. Yeah, he's taking Oklahoma minus the 5.5. He just doesn't like Missouri. He says they're overrated every year. I kind of think it's the opposite. I feel like I say this every week. Missouri is just that team that's always ranked that nobody ever talks about, and they just kind of hang in games. This came down. It was at 7 at one point, I think, or 7.5, maybe. Maybe because the quarterback's coming back, it's come down. I could see this being a close game. If I had to pick a side, I'd probably lean Mizzou. Not crazy now. It's at 5.5, but I'll probably bet the under on this. Yeah, Oklahoma has one of the best defenses in the nation. I don't know what John Mateer is going to do if he's healthy yet. But yeah, probably bet the under. I think this will be a close game. I'd probably lean Mizzou.
That is where I was originally looking when this game was on my card for this week, was looking at the under. Oklahoma plays really good defense. I just don't know what to make of Missouri. Obviously, we saw some comments last week before their game, that the vibes weren't good because some of the things that they wanted to play for were out of reach now. Well, hey, you still got to finish out the season. And 7-3, especially in Columbia, Missouri, is nothing to sneeze at. I mean, that's not something that they're used to being all the time. So a good year for them, top 25, whatever. They have a chance to finish things out with a bang, getting a couple wins down the stretch here. So still some things to play for, but I don't know. With Bo Prabula coming back, how is he going to be? How mobile is he on that ankle? Or is this a Boobie Miles decoy situation? Is Zollers, the third stringer, going to be out there again? I don't know. There's too many unknowns with Missouri, so I was leaning toward the under on this game, but I pulled out of that one here.
Yeah.
All right, moving on over to number 2 on Chris's card, 3:30 on ABC. He's got his remote control locked in on one channel, looks like this afternoon. We got a little old Southwest Conference showdown, but now in the SEC, Arkansas makes a trip to Austin, taking on Texas. Number 17 Longhorns, 7-3. Razorbacks are the best 2-8 team you'll ever will see. Texas laying 8.5 at Darrell K. Royal Stadium, and the 57.5 is the total. Does Chris believe in Arch Manning?
He does actually. There's an 8 out there, so we're going to give him Texas minus 8. Yeah, I don't know what he's going with here. I know he doesn't really like Arch Manning that much. Maybe he just thinks this defense is going to be too good, and Arkansas's, I don't know, maybe he sees that 2-8 record, and yeah, I don't know. I think Arkansas. I don't know if I'm going to bet this one, but I would probably bet Arkansas at the 8.5 or better if there's a better number out there. Yeah, maybe the over. Nah, the over's gross.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll have to look at this game more, but I would lean just looking at it. Arkansas plus the points because they've been playing close games for the most part.
Here's the duality of man right here. Of course, Sam Pittman gets fired by Arkansas a few weeks ago. Razorbacks started off 2-0. They beat Alabama and A&M 52-7, Arkansas State 56-14. Of course, those are nobodies. You should win those games. And now they've reeled off 8 straight losses, but they lose at Ole Miss 41-35, at Memphis 32-31. I believe that was a controversial call late in that game. You get worked by Notre Dame 56-13 at home. You lose at Tennessee 34-31, at A&M 45-42. You lose to Auburn 33-24. That's a bit of a letdown spot there in that game. You lose to Mississippi State 38-35. And then last week, you lose at LSU 23-22. I mean, you look at all those close losses, they just can't finish. And those things shake the other way. This could be a team that is in the playoff. I'm not saying that they're that good, but I'm just saying if luck call here, a play there, bounces the other way, we could be having a much different conversation about Arkansas than what we are right now. And Sam Pittman's looking for putting an extension on the house instead of trying to sell that house. It's just weird how the world goes sometimes, Scotty.
Yep, Texas 2-8 against the spread this year, so it's probably another Texas win by 4 to 6 points, 4 to 7, somewhere in there.
I'd imagine. Yeah, but, this is Arkansas's Super Bowl. I mean, they got the Golden Boot, with LSU, and they got that. What is it? I think some people call it the Ozark of the Covenant. The Covenant when they play Missouri, but this is the big rival for them, for a long time Southwest Conference. It means more to the fans, obviously, than the players. None of these guys were alive when Arkansas and Texas were in the Southwest Conference together, but they're going to be ready. They're going to play a close game, and they're going to lose in frustrating fashion. You're right. It'll probably be like a 6-point game or something on this, but I stayed away from it. But Chris, riding with the Longhorns, you got them with an 8-point spread on that.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. Moving on over for him, his last game on the college slate, staying on ABC, 7:30 ABC. Talk about games that used to mean something. Florida and Tennessee. This one for a while in the mid-'90s was just a barn burner in the SEC. Joey Aguilar and the Vols, number 20 in the nation, 7-3 on the year, going to DJ Lagway, and the Gators 3-7. Tennessee laying at 3.5, and the number set at 56.5. Tennessee has not won in Gainesville in quite some time. I don't have the number in front of me, but I know it's been a while since Tennessee last won in Gainesville. Will that streak break here? What does Chris say?
Chris is actually going with Florida. I saw a 4 out there before the show, so we'll give him a 4. Yeah, I think I agree with him on this one. Tennessee I don't know. They've been good, not great all year. And then Florida coaching change, but even when Napier was there, they're the team that when they have nothing to play for, they kind of show up to play spoiler. Like last year when everybody thought Napier was about to get fired, all of a sudden they start playing well. Saved his job for half a year, I guess.
Yeah, they beat Ole Miss last year, didn't they?
I think so. Yeah, they upset a couple teams last year, I think. But yeah, I think they show up at home. I almost made this my underdog pick, but yeah, I think it'll be a close game. But yeah, I like where Chris is going with this. Florida +4.
Trendy dog for a lot of people out there this week I've seen, but yeah, +4. You can get that on Fanatics at 115 right now. It looks like so. Chris going with the Gators. We'll give them the half a point there with 4 points in Gainesville. I wish I had the stat there in front of me, but I know it's been a long time. I feel like I want to say it 96, but it just doesn't sound right. But I feel like it is. It might have been since Tennessee won there. It's been a long time since they've got a win in Gainesville. Whatever reason, it's just a bugaboo for them. But yeah, I kind of feel this one too. Um, I don't know. I just can't trust this Florida team, but I'm not that sold on Tennessee either. So I don't know. That's why I stayed away from this one. But all right, Chris got the Gators plus the 4 points there in the swamp. All right, let's go ahead and do your card here next, Scotty. Moving on over on that one.
2003. I was chat GPT'd it. 2003
Ah,
was the last time.
2003. There we go. I was only 7 years off. All right. Noon, a big one in the ACC on ESPN2. SMU still trying to make their way to Charlotte. I believe they have some scenarios where they can get there for the ACC championship game, but they're going to have to go past Louisville first. We got SMU laying the 3.5 there in Dallas. 49.5 is the total. What say you, sir?
Yeah, for that reason, like you said, SMU has a shot to get to the title game. This was at 3 last night when I looked at it, but I'll still take 3.5. I'm taking SMU, mainly because of the spot. Louisville essentially has nothing to play for. Tough loss to Clemson last week. They lost to Cal before that. Kind of ruined their ACC title chances. They don't have any hopes to get in. They're bowl eligible, so what are they really playing for right now? Their hopes were pretty much shattered last week. And then you got SMU, like you said, chance at the title game. Kevin Jennings has been playing decent. He's a fifth in yards per attempt in the ACC. So yeah, I think SMU is going to be a lot more inspired, more motivated. I think their offense is going to put up enough points to cover this 3.5 and perhaps get in the ACC title game.
SMU sneaky this year. I feel like no one in the conference has been talking about them, and here they are with
Yeah,
a
they
chance
started
to
off
go to
slow.
Charlotte. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the offense just took a little bit to get clicking and stuff. And when I go back and I look at, I think Preston Stone at Northwestern this year, when I look at like they were splitting time before, it's like, really? You had those two guys? It's like when Virginia had Bryson Spinner and Matt Schaub platooning for a little bit before Spinner moved on over down I-64 to Richmond. It was like, really? You were splitting Matt Schaub with that guy? Kevin Jennings is
Yeah.
a very underrated quarterback, and the Mustangs tend to go as he goes. And they play better defense, I think, than
Well,
some people give them credit for, too.
a lot of coordinators and coaches like that quote unquote safe guy. It's like, no, put the guy that can get you a touchdown on any play out there,
Yeah.
especially in college.
Yeah, and he can do it with his legs. He can do it with his arms. So, and that'll be a good atmosphere. That should be a fun one there. They tend to pack out Gerald R. Ford Stadium there. So, all right, moving on down the road here for you.
Next game.
12:45 on the SEC network. This is absolutely disgusting, Scotty. Listen, and by the way, just a PSA. This is a bad week of football because this is the week where the SEC just decides collectively. Do we have Sister Mary Margaret's School for Deaf Children? Do we have, the Tuckahoe YMCA?
Yeah,
Do we
does
have Waynesboro Christian Academy? They just play whoever has a pulse in the
does
SEC this
biblical studies have a football team?
Yes, yes. Texas Women's University, which I believe has men's sports, if I remember correctly. I don't think they have
Yeah.
football, but I believe they have men's sports. But yes, Charlotte, the mighty 1-9 Charlotte 49ers, making a trip between the hedges to take on Georgia, the number 4 Bulldogs. Georgia laying 43.5. The total set at 53.5, 12:45 on SEC Network. Scotty, before you give your pick, here's a funny stat. This is the second highest ranked team that Charlotte has ever faced. They went on the road to face Clemson once when they were number 1. I believe it was back in 2019. So there you go.
Well, they'll probably get more chances going forward. I would assume. But yeah, simple analysis on this one. This game is gross. This pick is gross. But Kirby Smart at Georgia is 0-13-1 against the spread when he's a 38-point favorite or more. So he's never covered one of these at Georgia. Last year, they played UMass in a very similar spot this same week when they had a big game coming up after. And they were 42.5-point favorites against UMass. They won by 38. So they can win by 38 again here, and I cover by a touchdown because there's a 44 out there. So I'm going to take the 44. Yeah, Kirby Smart just doesn't cover these big spreads like that. They could win by 30 to 38 and I still win my bet. It could be 44-3 and I walk out a winner. I feel like it's going to be something to that effect. Yeah, Kirby Smart just doesn't run it up. He's got, if they get up big, he's going to take the foot off the gas completely and just try to get to next week and keep that playoff spot. So, yeah, he doesn't care about the number here. He doesn't care about the spread. I forget who they play next. Georgia Tech. So yeah, big game. Yeah. Georgia Tech. Yeah, one they're going to need to win if they want to keep that bye. So it really doesn't matter what. Even if they win by like 14 for some reason, that maybe they fall back to 5, but you beat Georgia Tech, you're right back up to 4 again. So I don't think he's going to care about winning big here.
Yeah, next week it is technically a game at Georgia Tech, but Georgia Tech sold out their livelihood and sold this game and moved it from Bobby Dodd Stadium at historic Grant Field next week, and they moved it to Mercedes-Benz Stadium. So there's going to be already going to be a lot of red in there next week for Georgia anyway. But yeah, now that you have the capacity of Mercedes-Benz, it's going to be pretty much a Georgia home game there for Georgia Tech in the latest installment of Clean Old-Fashioned Hate. Yeah, Kirby Smart's worried about the Jackets. Haynes King almost beat him between the hedges last year. He wants to make sure that they get out of this thing unscathed, no injuries and nothing. If could be a good spot to look ahead for, was it Puglisi or whatever it is, the backup for Georgia. I imagine he'll get a lot of snaps under center in this one as Georgia just make sure to get out of there with everyone intact before Clean Old-Fashioned Hate next week. I actually really like that pick. You said you got a 44 out there?
Yeah. I forget what book it was on, but there is a 44 out there. Yeah, if you bet this one, maybe don't follow the game until the fourth quarter because it might be 21-0 in the first like 10 minutes. But yeah, I see him just taking his foot off the gas. Yeah, Charlotte gets a touchdown, then you're safe pretty much.
All right, moving down the road here for your next one on the college slate. Tulane making the trip on up to the city of brotherly love, taking on Evan Simon and his Temple Owls. 5-5 on the year is Temple. Tulane laying at 8.5. 53.5 is the number. Tulane, number 24 team in the land, coming in at 8-2. 345 on ESPNU.
Yeah, there is a couple 9.5s out there. This spread's kind of all over the place. There's some 9.5s. There's some 7.5s. So yeah, shop around on this one either way you like it. But I'm taking those 9.5 points with Temple. We keep seeing a new American Conference team in the playoff every week instead of JMU for whatever reason. And then that American team immediately loses. Tulane's been in this spot already and lost. So yeah, give me those points with Temple. Tulane's coach even said they're not that good.
John Sumrall.
Yeah, he said if we're the 24th best team in the nation, then there must not be that many good teams. Like, damn, dude. Maybe he's trying to light a spark. I don't know. But, yeah, man, Temple, they play at a very slow pace. They're 7-3 against the spread this year. Their quarterback hasn't thrown for a ton of yards, but he takes care of the ball. 22 touchdowns, 1 interception this year. That's pretty damn good. So if you're doing a slow pace and you're not turning it over, I think it's going to be tough for Tulane to cover this number. I think maybe Tulane is a little sloppy in the first half. Maybe they pull it out and win by, I don't know, a field goal, 3-4 points. I think it's be a very close game. I think Temple could pull off the upset, but I don't know about all that. I'm just going to go with the 9.5 points with Temple.
9.5. You can get that on BetMGM and Hard Rock at -110, taking Temple plus 9.5. Don't hate that. Temple, I know they got worked by East Carolina. They had that rough loss last week against Army where I think Army got the ball with like 7 minutes left and Temple just never got the ball back again. But that's what happens when you play a service academy. They're a python. They're going to strangle you, just slowly suck the life out of you, especially when they have a situation to ice the game late. Temple, Casey Keeler is building. I'm not saying that he's going to get it back to Matt Rule status there. What Matt Rule did was special there, especially getting College Game Day and everything there. But get people to care about Temple in South Philly is going to take a bit, but this kind of season, especially before the season started, when they were talking about Should we really explore looking at maybe dropping Temple football? There were conversations about that.
Yeah.
This is a good way to change the culture there. And it's a good recruiting area up there if you can get guys from Pennsylvania and New Jersey and stuff. So Casey Keeler's building something there, but I think they can hang around with Jake Retzlaff and those Tulane Green Wave. I don't hate that, especially if you can get a
Yeah.
9.5 here.
Also, Temple coming off a bye after back-to-back losses, so I'm sure they were locked in. This is their Super Bowl now. I'm sure they're looking to play spoiler. I think it's going to be anybody's game there at the end, I think.
Boom. All right. So take Temple plus 9.5, says Scotty. All right. Moving over to my card here. It's the game. It's at noon. Harvard taking on Yale. The Crimson, number 8 team in the land at 9-0 with a chance to win the Ivy League outright. Of course, they were in this spot last year at home, and Yale ruined that for them, and they ended up sharing the title, I believe, with Dartmouth, and I think there was one more team, I forget, the triumvirate that split the Ivy crown. Of course, this one historic because the Ivy League is participating in the FCS playoffs. So the winner of this will get the first ever the first ever automatic bid from the Ivy League to the FCS playoffs. Yale, they are in the coaches poll this week at number 25, 7-2 team in the land. Harvard laying the 7.5, and the number is at 50.5. Noon ESPNU on the Yale Bowl. At the Yale Bowl. Listen. Yale is a very tough team, but they are one-dimensional as one-dimensional gets. And it starts and stops with the running back, Pitzenberger. That is not him in the graphic. Couldn't get a good picture of him that I liked to put in there. But everything revolves through him and revolves through the run game. Yale wants to ground and pound. Maybe you look at the under on this, perhaps, considering the way that Yale wants to play. But listen, Harvard has lost 3 straight to Yale. They had their spot ruined last year by them for winning a conference title outright. And I don't think that they're going to forget that. Their quarterback, Jaden Craig, is dynamic. That guy is putting up big numbers for Harvard this year, and he's also in the conversation for the Walter Payton Award, which is the essentially the FCS Heisman. So that's a guy that's going to be a game breaker there. And those 3 losses that those 3 losses that Harvard's had to Yale in a row, the spot was reversed on this one. That Yale was the dog trying to pull things off. Now Yale's the favorite. Harvard's the favorite. I'm messing up my notes here. I got them all jumbled up. But I'm saying it was a different situation here. You give me Harvard plus minus the points on the road. I'm taking Jaden Craig. I'm taking the Crimson. They also play really good run defense. Very good run defense. I think they average like 98 yards a game or something like that. So we're going to see what's better, that Yale rushing attack or the Harvard run defense. Give me Harvard to cover that number at home. On the road at the Yale Bowl there. 7.5. Give me to cover that.
Yeah, I know nothing about this game, but just looking at the action app while you were talking, you mentioned Yale's won the last 3. There's some 8.5s out there. I am not touching this game. But yeah, I would probably have to go with the 8.5 with Yale. They won 3 in a row. Now you're getting 8.5 points at home. Yeah, maybe Harvard wins. I don't know. I know nothing about this game.
Also,
Harvard wins, Yale covers.
Also, what we do know is that everyone in attendance and everyone playing will make more money than you and I ever will in our lives combined. So,
that's true.
They got that going for them. So, smart kids. And also, we'll see if MIT pulls off any sort of prank, because they like to prank the Harvard-Yale game and those kids. So, we'll see what's going on there as the 2 smartest colleges in America square off. Speaking of smart colleges, these 2 not so much. We got the Brawl of the Wild, 2:00, ESPN Plus. College game day should be here. It should be here, Scotty. in beautiful Missoula, Montana today. I'm not even going to try to pronounce Montana's quarterback's name. It is, I believe, that they believe he's Native American, and I don't want to disrespect them by messing that name up. It is terrible for pronunciation on my part, but he is putting up ridiculous numbers. And the Grizz are 11-0 on the year. They're the number 2 team in the land. Montana State coming in at 9-2. Big Sky championship on the line here, and they're number 3 in the FCS. And Montana State's getting, I mean, Montana State's laying 2.5 here. Harvard's getting points at home, and you're the number 2 team. And I said Harvard. I got my notes jumbled up here. My brain's all messed up. Montana's getting points at home. You're the number 2 team in the land in a rivalry game, which, by the way, I believe the last 3 in this series have been decided by like 19 plus points. They have not played close games between each other here in the Brawl of the Wild. Give me Montana plus the 2.5. This was almost my my dog this week. I think Montana wins this game like outright. I don't know. Maybe someone knows something I don't know. I just don't see when I go back and look at the body of work that the Grizzlies have done this year. Give me Montana plus the 2.5 at home.
Yeah, sure. That sounds good. Looks like the home team wins pretty easily in this matchup in the last few years. So yeah, why not?
All right. Moving on over the next one on my card here. The Victory Bell on the line here in Chapel Hill. Duke 5-5, making an 8-mile trek, taking on UNC Tar Heels 4-6. Duke laying the 6.5, and the number set at 51.5. 3:30 on the ACC network. We get to see an interesting one here, Scotty. Bill Belichick. Remember when the press conference happened and he said his first words were "beat Duke." Little Bill Belichick, his dad was a coach in North Carolina, and allegedly his first words were "beat Duke." And he holds up that old ratty ass sweater that they tried to make look like it was vintage or something. Well, here's a chance, little Billy, because if you want to go to a bowl game in your first year in Chapel Hill, if you want to take Jordan Hudson on an all expenses paid trip by the university to El Paso, Texas, to the Sun Bowl, this is the road to do it. You're going to have to go through your 2 rivals. You dropped one rivalry game the Wake. Now you got to beat Duke and then turn around and beat State next week. Listen, Carolina's defense is playing really good football right now. The body of work overall, though, not necessarily against the toughest teams in the land, but their offense is absolutely putrid. Gio Lopez is just not an ACC quarterback. And every time I see him under center, every time I see him play, it's like this guy is just, I know he did well at South Alabama, but if you're Bill Belichick and how does this staff go through the year? And this is the options that you have. And albeit they got it started late and hired some assistants late, and they were late in the process. But how do you wind up with this as your guy at the University of North Carolina with all the money going into it? I don't know. But it's not all his fault. A lot of this is scheme as well. Then you got Duke. And Manny Diaz said at the beginning of the year that Duke was like the architects of their own destruction, I believe he said. And that's pretty much been it. I mean, like the games that Duke's lost, for the most part, they beat themselves in a lot of these games. This is a talented Duke team. They just can't get out of their own way sometimes. And Darian Mensah has played very good for them. I still like Carolina getting the 6.5 points at home. I may shade toward the under on this game as well. But then Duke's defense is so bad too. But I don't know if Carolina can put up enough points to help out to go over with that over. So I may go with that. But I'm taking Carolina at home plus the 6.5. I think, but the rivalry games for them, I think this is the one that they could potentially steal. And not just because I'm a State fan, but Raleigh's been a house of horrors for them lately, and they just have not been able to get up against the Wolfpack. And there's one thing Dave Doran does well is beat UNC. So I think the Pack has a chance, clinched a bowl berth yesterday. Now they have a chance next week with Carolina potentially coming in to need a win to go to a bowl to just snuff that out in year one. That'll be great. I think we see the last gasp of hope for Carolina today. I think they play a tight game. I think Duke will win, but it wouldn't shock me if Carolina pulled this one off and kept the victory bell in Chapel Hill when this one's done.
Yeah, there's some 7s out there, so we'll give you +7. Yeah, kind of agree with you with the under and the UNC +7. I think Duke probably wins, but they're not going to win by more than a touchdown.
Yeah, should be a really interesting one here. I'm also intrigued by how many Carolina fans. I mean, I know it's Duke. I mean, they can play Duke in checkers, and I'm sure a lot of people show up. But still, I'm intrigued. What's the buy-in level from Carolina fans at this point of the season?
Also, why is Gio Lopez holding the ball like that? Does he not throw with the laces?
Because Gio Lopez is about to run for his life. The background that I for those, which is essentially their offense. They do nothing on first down, incomplete pass on second down, and then it's okay. It's third down, it's 3rd and 9, 3rd and 8. We're gonna roll Gio out and see what he can do, and he ends up throwing the ball away. That's essentially their offense. It's like a bad version of when Virginia had Marcus Higgins. It was stretch play left, stretch play right. Okay, we got nothing going. It's 3rd and 7. Let's roll Marcus Higgins out and see what he can do. Except Higgins could actually make plays. I remember Bobby Bowden saying that dadgum number 18, they couldn't stop him when they got that win there in 05. This is a very bastardized version of that, is what Carolina is trying to do, and they just have not figured it out. I don't think they've scored over 20 points against a Power 4 opponent this year. I think the one time they scored like 4 touchdowns in the game, I want to say, was against Richmond. I mean, that is banana land to be that bad offensively against Power 4 teams. And Bill Belichick is the head coach.
Yeah, I'm just looking real quick. No, they haven't. 20 against Charlotte.
Okay, yeah, Charlotte. Yeah, that was, I mean, FBS opponent, but yeah, that was your high water mark with Charlotte. Yeah, that is.
And just 20.
Yeah. Things are not pretty there right now. So yeah, but I think they'll hang around with Duke. And Duke's defense is so bad, Carolina may be able to move the ball a little bit there. They got that running back. What's his name? Last name June, I believe it is. He's looked well in spurts for Carolina this year. So maybe they, want to ground and pound a little bit, run the football, and play good defense and try to keep this thing close and steal one. Maybe that's the path to victory for them.
Yeah, maybe.
Or maybe Bill Belichick just comes out and does something completely different. Remember that like pouring rain game on Monday night where they essentially ran the ball like 55 times or something? Remember they threw like 2 passes in that game? I forgot who they were. I think they were playing the Jets, maybe. It was a Monday night game. It was just like awful weather. And the wind was awful. Maybe they just come out and do that. Maybe they just go wildcat with June and just run the ball the whole game. We'll see what happens in Chapel Hill.
Maybe.
All right. That does it for the college football side of the ledger. Moving on over to the National Football League. We'll start with Christopher here. Aaron Rodgers, I believe last time I saw he is questionable with this. I believe with the wrist injury on his left wrist. Pittsburgh 6-4 heading to Chi-Town, taking on the 7-3 Chicago Bears. Who'd have thought that? 1 o'clock, CBS, the America's Most Watched network of stars. Bears laying 2.5. 45.5 is the number. 1 o'clock Sunday. What says Chris?
Yeah, I guess he likes the Bears all of a sudden. They were his underdog pick last week. And he's picking them again with the 2.5, -2.5 the Bears. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do some more digging into this one because I don't like the Bears. They're not a 7-3 team. But then again, I'm not crazy about Pittsburgh either. We'll have to see if Aaron Rodgers plays. I don't know how much that matters. I don't know for this team right now at this point in his career how much better he is than Mason Rudolph. Yeah, I don't know, man. Maybe this. Yeah, I don't know. I have nothing on this game yet. I'll have to look at it more. My gut tells me to take the Steelers, but that's just because I don't think the Bears are that good still, even though they're 7-3. I think T.J. Watt could give Caleb Williams some issues, but yeah, I don't know. We'll have to do some more digging on this. But Chris is going the Bears -2.5.
What is it called? Like recency bias or whatever? I think this is what I'm experiencing with the Bears. I just look at it and 7-3 just doesn't feel right or sound right. And there's like no empirical evidence that I'm thinking that. Just my initial look at that That doesn't feel right. They can't be that good, as you say. It's like when people see
Yeah.
Virginia and they look and they see the 2 losses and
Well,
they're like,
yeah.
"Look, that doesn't they shouldn't be this in this spot." Um, I still am not a believer in Chicago yet either, but Pittsburgh's defense, they are playing a little bit better, but I think you can run the ball on them. We'll see what Aaron Rodgers' situation is. I trust Aaron Rodgers with a messed up wrist more than I trust Mason Rudolph. Um, so I would kind of lean toward the under in this game. I don't know what the weather situation is there. Always got to keep an eye on that in late November in Chicago. I haven't even looked at that, but I would just my initial thought I would lean under. I feel like this ain't going to be a pretty game.
Yeah, Caleb Williams still not good against good defenses. He'll look good against bad defenses, but so it kind of probably just all comes down to how that pass rush does, because the Pittsburgh secondary has not been good, but they still have T.J. Watt. So if they're able to get in his face, Steelers probably win this game. If not, then the Bears probably win.
And Chris is probably on Chicago because he likes Caleb Williams' fingernail polish. So.
He does, and he doesn't like Aaron Rodgers. So.
Oh yeah. And Aaron Rodgers has a chance, by the way, to let the Bears know that he still owns them. He's got to go out there and play.
That too. Yeah.
Yeah. If he loses to the Bears, but he's not in a Packer uniform, does he transfer ownership back to the Bears? Does he no longer own them?
No, he's beat them so many times. It's going to take more than one win.
Yeah. All right, I'm sure they'll have a great reception for him there. I'm sure the Chicago fans have really missed him when he comes in.
Yeah.
Moving on over, a little NFC East showdown, 425 on Fox. You got the Eagles, the most dysfunctional 8-2 team you ever did see, headed to Dallas to take on the 4-5-1 Cowboys, coming off that Monday night thumping of the Raiders. Philadelphia laying the 3. Total set at 47.5. I have this game on my card as well, so I will follow behind Christopher here.
All right, he's going Cowboys +3. I don't know what's going on. Maybe he's just hates the Eagles that much, wants to see them lose. But yeah, a little surprised he went there. But yeah, that not saying it's a bad pick, but surprised that he's picking it. But yeah, he's going with the Cowboys plus the 3 points at home.
Dallas plus the 3. Maybe he's feeling that Monday Night Football performance there. Maybe CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens, what were they, like benched on that first drive? I believe they were out late or whatever. Maybe it seems like they got the message. They started to get things clicking, albeit it was the Raiders, so take that with a grain of salt. But listen, Dak Prescott, the last 4 times he's faced the Eagles at AT&T Stadium, the Cowboys have scored 33, 40, 41 and 37 points. If you're doing math at home, that's a 38-point average. In those same 4 games, he's thrown 9 touchdowns and just 2 interceptions. And then also a little historical stat here. He'll likely pass Tony Romo, probably third, fourth quarter, somewhere around there. And he's like 160 yards for most passing yards for a Dallas quarterback. So he'll probably end up eclipsing that somewhere in the third or fourth quarter. So good for him. Cowboys offense is first in the NFL in passing yards, averaging 258 yards a game there. And then you have a Philadelphia secondary that has some issues there. Their pass defense, not great. So you have an opportunity where Dallas can exploit some things. I see where, Chris could potentially be thinking that, but then Dallas's defense is terrible as well. Both teams have questions on the defensive side of the ball. The Cowboys struggle with certain perimeter runs, trying to contain those. I know Overshown, I think, is going to be on a snap count for them this week. I think Revel as well. Then you look at Philadelphia, they just have their issues defensively. I'm going all in on the over on this game. Indoors, fast surface. Both teams, have pretty good passing attacks. I know A.J. Brown is having his frustrations there. Jalen Hurts has faced a lot of criticism by Philly fans and media. And last time I checked, they won the Super Bowl and they're 8-2. These are champagne problems to have. Saquon hasn't been the same Saquon this year, but you're still 8-2. It's like we would look. 31 other teams would love to have these problems that you're having right now. It seems like no one likes anyone. That's outwardly. That's what it seems like, but they just go out and win games. I think they win this game. I don't know about covering that, but I love the over here in this game. I think Philadelphia's averaging like 28 points a game or something like that too. So yeah, I think this will be a shootout. Give me the over.
Yeah, the Eagles are the new Chiefs. Off a Super Bowl win, 8-2, and we're like, I don't know, they just don't look that good. And the refs are like giving them everything they want now. So yeah, the Eagles are officially the new Chiefs. I hate to kind of agree with both of you, but that Dallas plus the 3 feels right. If the over under stays under 48, the over feels right. But I don't know. I don't love either one. I do feel like there should be a lot of points, but the Eagles have been playing a lot of low scoring games recently. The offense isn't really clicking. So maybe the Dallas plus threes my favorite bet if you're looking at a total or a side. I don't know. I might have to go and look at a player prop for this one because I don't know if you can trust Dallas 2 weeks in a row to actually show up and play well. I know you said all the stats for Dak, but I could absolutely see him coming out and throwing 3 picks and them just looking terrible. Yeah, Jerry Jones. I don't know if it was just picking up random guys on defense or if he actually had this plan, but he kind of picked up some people that to stop Philly. It seems like to maybe try to slow down Saquon. He's got some D tackles in there now, a linebacker. So yeah, I don't know what Jerry's doing up there, but if those picks are going to work, it's going to be for this game. So yeah, Dallas feels like the right side, but I just never know with him.
Did we give Chris the hook? It looks like he can get a 3.5 out there on FanDuel.
Let's see.
That's what Juice is showing me right now. Three and
We
a
capped it
half.
at one. We
Oh
kept it at
yeah,
120, right?
120. Yeah,
Yeah.
capped it at 120. Never mind. Never mind. So yeah, keeping Chris at Dallas in 3. I fought for you, Chris. Maybe.
No,
eh,
I did see that earlier. There was another book out there too that was minus 128.
Ooh,
I think it was like one of those
Fliff or
Movid
something
or
like
something.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Should be a interesting one here. And then moving on over for Chris, his next NFL card. Well, Sunday night football. You got Tampa Bay heading to LA, taking on the Rams. Rams wearing their usually away jerseys at home today. I guess they're taking the page out of Dallas's book. Rams 8-2, Tampa 6-4, LA laying to 7. Over under set at 49.5. Sunday night football, 8:20 p.m. NBC and Peacock.
Yeah, this line's 6.5 or 7, depending on where you get it. So if you like the Rams, go find a 6.5. Or if you agree with Chris, he's taking the Bucks plus 7. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like this might be a Rams 7-point win. Bucks still have some injuries to some key guys on offense. Haven't looked particularly great lately, and the Rams are just rolling. This could be a game where Tampa just needs it more and they show up, and the Rams are kind of not really up or on their game. So, yeah, I don't know. I think maybe I'd go with the under if I had to bet something here. Rams have been hitting a lot of unders, like and the Bucks do have a good run defense. The Rams do like to run the ball. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe a lower scoring game than we expect. I'd probably go with the under. But Chris is going plus 7 with the Bucks.
Plus 7 with the Bucks. All right. Here's an interesting fact for you too, Scotty. The Bucks are 6-4 on top of the South. Carolina is 6-5. And Carolina also is in the Sunshine State as they travel to take on San Francisco. Christian McCaffrey facing his old team. Carolina wins that game. Tampa Bay loses this game. The Carolina Panthers will be on top of the NFC South. Who had that going for them? And I think that could be a likely scenario here this week. Yeah, I like LA to cover this. Tampa's so dinged up. I think they're a good team, but they're just the injuries, especially you mentioned the offensive side of things. You got to go cross country, take on the Rams. Rams have been really good at home. They've I know when they first moved out there, they didn't really have a home fan base and stuff, better than the Chargers. But they didn't really have a home base. Seems like they've kind of rallied around that. People have started to come out, the Who's house, Rams house, they're packing SoFi. They've built a culture there. I mean, obviously winning a Super Bowl a few years ago helps. Yeah, give me LA to cover that. I don't have that on my card, but I am going to bet LA to cover this.
Yeah, I'll probably go the under. Rams 4-1 to the under at home this year.
Ooh, tasty.
Yeah.
Okay. That does it for Chris on the NFL. Moving to your NFL card, sir. We got Colts at Chiefs in Arrowhead, Sunday, 4:05 on CBS. Kansas City, 5-5, Indy 8-2. And Daniel Jones's boys are getting 3.5 points at Arrowhead. Total set at 49.5. And news this week, apparently Travis Kelce is going to wait till after the season to make a decision on if he's coming back. I guess he saw Lane Kiffin was getting some attention and said, hey, I need to get some attention myself with my own announcement. So, yeah, we will all be waiting with bated breath on that one. But are the Colts being disrespected here, Scotty?
Maybe, but if they are, I'm disrespecting them too. I bet the Chiefs at the same number last week on the road. It didn't work. So why not do it again? Glutton for punishment, I guess. There's a couple -3s out there at -120 at our cap. So I'm going to take that extra 0.5 point with the Chiefs. Mahomes, they're coming off back-to-back losses. That's happened 5 times in his career. He's never lost 3 games in a row. And Dan Jones is turning back into Daniel Jones. Last 2 games, he has 7 turnovers in the last 2 games. That's not good. So I can see him having at least 2 more turnovers here. Yeah, and I don't think Jonathan Taylor is going to be able to do it all himself, which he might have to. I can see that Chiefs defense, that defensive line, not stopping him, of course, but kind of maintaining him a little bit. Yeah, it's at Kansas City. They really need this game now. If they lose this one, then their playoff hopes are looking not too great. So they really need this one, and then their schedule kind of lets up big time the next few weeks. So I think they feel like if they win this one, then they have a really good chance to make the playoffs. And who knows, if Denver slides, they can be right there. But yeah, Daniel Jones going to give the ball away a couple times. The Chiefs are, I know you probably don't agree with me on this one, but I don't know, just the Chiefs really need this game. We've seen them kind of slide in previous years. Then all of a sudden when they have to have it, they show up. I think the weapons that the Chiefs have in this spot, yeah, I think they're going to show up and take care of business and take the ball away from Daniel Jones, and that he's going to be making that face he's making in that graphic a few times this week. Yeah, give me the Chiefs to win by a touchdown.
Oh, okay. Hey, Daniel Jones, by the way, dealing with a calf issue. He's going to play, but that did limit him in practice a little bit, and not necessarily what you want to have going against a team that can get after the quarterback a little bit like Kansas City can. Of course, Kansas City has some issues with the running game. With I know Pacheco's out, and Indy has a very stout run defense. So I don't know. Should be an interesting game. I have some more thoughts on this one a little bit later on here. Moving on to your next one, Giants and the Lions. Good Lord, Jameis Winston's boys,
Jameis.
2-9, traveling to Motor City. He's just smiling. He's just happy to be
Yeah.
there. He's just happy to be there playing football. He's going to go to Detroit. Maybe get some a Detroit Coney dog or something, and just get some Detroit pizza after game. He's just living life. Jameis Winston's going to be like doing side missions, when he's done with football. He's just like, you're going to randomly see him in a bullfight in Barcelona, and it's like, okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Like the happiest guy in the world.
He's like that guy in the war movie that's always just happy and smiling.
Exactly. There's just like grenades are flying. He's just like, hey, it's a great day. Well, they're in Detroit, which grenades actually may be flying at them, taking on the Lions 6-4.
Sure.
Big number on this one. Detroit laying the 12.5. Total set at 50.5. 1:00 on Fox.
Yeah, there is a 12 out there at Hard
Okay.
Rock and I think somewhere else. So I'm taking the 12. Square bet, big number. But yeah, I gotta take Detroit here. Sorry, Jameis. The Lions have been doing this thing where they lose a game and then win big, lose a game and then win big for the last 5, 6 weeks. I think that continues coming off the loss last week. I think Dan Campbell's going to want to come out, run the score up. 5 of their 6 wins have been by 13 or more points. And I think that's going to continue here. That Giants defense is just going to have a terrible day. Might have a bad Jameis week, I think. Yeah, still might be fun. I still think maybe the overhits. But yeah, give me the Lions to win big. They're just a much better team. Not a whole lot of analysis. That Giants defense is awful. Jameis will turn the ball over at least once. And yeah, Dan Campbell's going to come out, try to get their guys rolling again, and the Lions win big.
The Lions had the Giants at home on Sunday here. Then they have the Thanksgiving game at home against Green Bay, obviously a big one there in the NFC North. And then they have Dallas the following week at home. So 3 straight home games there at Ford Field for the Lions. I would feel better about the Giants covering this number if this game switched places with the Dallas game. If they were catching them after what their third game in 18 days or something like that, I would feel better about that. Detroit's gonna run it up, Herman, a little bit here. Like, remember the
Yeah.
Titans. I think they're gonna take care of business easy. And you're right. I feel like we're gonna see a bad Jameis game here coming. A few picks. It's gonna get loud. They're packed out there. They're wearing their Motor City Muscle uniforms, as they call them, with the all black and stuff there. Then you got Gibbs, and you got Montgomery, and the way Detroit can hurt you in so many ways. Obviously, a big part of that offense is gone, though. They like Laporta in the red zone. Apparently, he's out now for the rest of the year after having a procedure. So we'll see how they deal with that down there. But they can still hurt you so many different ways. Jameson Williams over the top and everything, and they play pretty good defense as well. This is just, if this was a college football game, this is one that you could switch away from it at halftime. This might be one of those games where if you're betting on like Bet365, one of those things that gives you like the early payout, you probably will get the win for
Well,
this.
you're not betting money line on the Lions, I don't think.
Hey, unless
Unless it's in a parlay. Maybe
uh,
it's in a parlay,
yeah,
sure, why not?
you drop it in the
But yeah,
parlay, or if you're just one of those degenerates that's betting $5,000 to win $500 or something.
yeah. Lions haven't lost 2 in a row yet this year either. And
Yeah,
when they have won, they've won big. So
yeah.
give me the Lions. The
Detroit
squarest bet I'll have all year, probably.
rolling. Moving on over here, we got you got this game on the card, and I had this game on my card too. Okay, there we go.
Nice.
Sunday, 4:05 on CBS. You got the Jags making the trip to the desert, taking on Jacoby Brissett, proud Wolfpacker, and the Cardinals. Jacoby Brissett coming off setting an NFL record 47 completions last week. I think he went 47 of 57. Jacksonville laying the 3, total set at 47.5. What say you, sir?
Yeah, was it the most completions or attempts? Was it in NFL history or
It was the
Cardinals history?
most completions in NFL history
Yeah,
at 40,
isn't
47.
which isn't a great thing usually.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Jaguars were my underdog pick last week, and that hit easily. But I'm going the other way this week. Jaguars did have that blowout win as a home dog last week against the Chargers, but the Chargers, their offense is a mess right now. And now Jacksonville has to fly across the country to play Arizona. I'm taking Arizona plus the 3 points here. The offense is better with Brissett. Just plain and simple. Kyler Murray's not the guy. I think they have more confidence in Brissett. Offense has just looked better. They have lost 7 of 8, the Cardinals have, but 5 of those losses were by 4 or less points. They're due for a win. I'm still not crazy about this Jacksonville team. I said that last week when I picked them as the dog. The only thing I got right on last Saturday's show. But yeah, I think the Cardinals are going to win this game. The traveling, just Jacksonville being inconsistent, not that good. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of Trevor Lawrence. Even when they're winning, he hasn't been great this year. And yeah, I think Arizona wins this game. But even if they don't, I could see it being a 3-point game. Give me the 3 points with the Cardinals.
taking the Cards and the 3 points. All right. Look, in this one here, Jacksonville, I feel like they're starting to round in the form a little bit. I know the Cards are in the mix of like a 1-7 stretch right now. Jacksonville plays really good. Jacksonville has a really good rushing attack. And then you have a vulnerable Arizona rush defense. And I think, when you go on the road, it's important to establish the run. Their run game last week, they ran the ball 47 times. That's the most by any NFL team this season. They ranked eighth in rushing defense, and the Cardinals had the 24th ranked rushing attack. ETN is one of 5 running backs this season with at least 50 yards from scrimmage in 10 consecutive games. So maybe that's a prop situation you want to look at there. But this line, they are some, road graders there. Their offensive line for Jacksonville ranks first in run block win rate at 75%. And they picked up a weapon for Trevor Lawrence at the deadline there, getting Jacoby Myers coming over for the Raiders. And he's been good. He's been no issues out of him in the locker room. I know he was having some issues in Vegas. And he's got 8 catches for 105 yards and no drops through 2 weeks with the Jaguars there. And then Jaguars have a really good run defense. They rank second in rushing defense, allowing just 86 yards a game there. So a situation where you can make Arizona be very one-dimensional and throw the football. And their turnover advantage as well. They're like +8, I want to say, on the turnover margin. I think the Cardinals are sitting at even right now. So, yeah, give me Jacksonville. Give me Jacksonville to cover this. I think they're starting to round into form and be the team that some people thought they were going to be. Injuries do concern me a little bit. I know Trayvon Walker, I think they just announced yesterday, was out, but that doesn't really bother me too much. I think Jacksonville covers this one.
All right. Is this on your card?
Yes. That was the first game on my card.
2.5s. There's a bunch of 2.5s out there, so we'll give you that.
Boom, 2.5. There we go. All right, moving on over on my card here. I hope that didn't just freeze on me. Let's try that again.
You just got one more, right?
Yeah, I believe I do. And if I can get to that.
Did you forget it?
Wait, did I put it on the card?
What's the game?
Did I make a graphic for it? Hold on. I had Jacksonville and Arizona with you. I did Philly. You know what? I did them all. I did Philly, Dallas with Chris.
And, what was your third one?
Oh, here we go. Here's the third one. It was hiding from me. I was like, I know I got one more. There we go. New England 9-2 on the road in Cincinnati, taking on the Bengals 3-7. Joe Burrow practicing. Will we see him show up? I don't think it matters on this one, 1:00 Sunday on CBS. Patriots laying the 6.5. That number certainly will,
7.5's out there now.
7.5's out there now. Okay, yeah. I'll still take New England minus the points there. Get in on this now because I don't think Joe Burrow is gonna play. I really don't think so. I mean, if they're going to try to save their season and throw him out there, but what are you going to do? You think you're going to make some generational run and get into the playoffs and make a run with him? That guy's your franchise. You don't want to toss him out there if he's not ready yet and get him hurt even more long term. Unless he's 100% and ready to go, this is a lost season for you, Cincinnati. There's no point in putting him out there right now. I would go in and lock in on this. And you said 7.5 right now with New England. Well,
there's a 7 out there if you're on
7.
New England.
Okay, yeah, perfect. Yeah, give me the 7 before they officially announce him out because it's going to go up to like 10 or something like that. Then, listen, New England is rolling right now. Drake May is. I'm not saying he's the best quarterback in football, but he's playing like the best quarterback in football right now. Their passing attack is like second in the NFL in total passing yards, almost 3,000. I think it's like 29-37 or something like that. They got 20 passing touchdowns on the year. They're like third in the explosive play rate. I think Ramondre Stevenson's coming back this week, I believe, for them. But then Travion Henderson, we saw the 3 touchdowns. So now they got a running game that can go with the passing attack as well. Joe Burrow is questionable, as we mentioned, for Cincinnati. Also, hey, no Jamar Chase. Remember, he spit on Jalen Ramsey. That cost him, just $507,156. And takes away the best weapon for his team. Even more reason why I wouldn't put Joe Burrow out there, because you also don't have your best receiver, and your quarterback's not going to be at 100%. What's the point? So yeah, give me New England to cover this one. I don't think this is going to be a pretty game at all. The Bengals defense is terrible. I mean, like generationally bad defense. I think New England is going to run this thing up. Now I think they got to make a decision on Joe Burrow by like 4 o'clock Saturday. I want to say to activate him to officially make him play. Um,
today. Oh,
yeah.
wait a minute. I got a ticker about Drew Burrow right now.
Ooh,
He's going to
breaking
remain
news.
on injured reserve, Drew Burrow, so
Boom.
he's not playing.
Boom. I knew it was all a ruse. There was no point. Go
Literally, it literally just popped up.
before that line changes. Hammer it right now. New England laying the 7. Go ahead and get in
That's
on it.
hilarious. It's funny.
Boom.
Yeah, I'm going to wait for this line to move and take the Bengals. The only reason why I haven't bet it yet is because, well, I haven't made any NFL bets yet, but only reason why I wouldn't take it at the number it's at now is because the Patriots are, I think, 5-0 on the road against the spread this year. But I do think their value is about as high as it's going to get now. So I think maybe betting the Bengals with the points might be the play, especially after this line moves. Yeah, they had on the road, I mentioned they're 5-0 against the spread, but they played the Dolphins on the road, won by 6. They played the Saints on the road, won by 6. So yeah, they're not necessarily blowing a lot of these teams out. They beat the barely covered against the Jets last week by the hook. And what are they really playing for? They just watched the Bills lose to the Texans on Thursday night. They're feeling pretty good about themselves. I don't think they really need to worry about the Bengals winning, but are they going to show up and give 100%, put the gas to the floor? I don't know. I don't think so. I guess you see them maybe letting up, either starting off slow or letting the Bengals get a backdoor cover. Especially now, I don't know how much it's going to move up because I think the line did move a little bit before they rolled them out. So maybe it goes up to 8.5. And yeah, I like the Bengals. I like the Patriots to win, but not by more than 7.
You don't think that line goes up higher after John Q. Public learns about it and hops in there, and you don't think that gets bet to like 10?
I don't think it's gonna get to 10. I think 8.5. I'd be surprised to see it to 9.5, but I don't think there's any way it gets to 10. I think they kind of knew that Burrow was going to be out, which is why I started moving.
I
Yeah.
just I just don't see where Cincinnati has anything to hang around with them. I mean, you have no Burrow, you have no Chase, and I think Christian Gonzalez can lock up T Higgins. So what do you have left? Who's going to hurt you? With Mike Gesicki in a revenge game coming off the injured list? I believe he's active and going to play. I just don't see Chase Brown. I mean, the Patriots play really good run defense. I just don't see where they have anything for them. And their defense, like I said, is historically bad. And New England can hurt you in different ways. You're right. Maybe it's a letdown spot. They feel like they can take the foot off the gas, but I feel like a Mike Vrabel team isn't going to do that. This guy's desperate. He wants to get to the Super Bowl. He's back in New England. Remember before he had those comments in Tennessee about how he would cut his junk off to get to the Super Bowl. If a guy is want to go Lorena Bobbitt on himself to get to the Super Bowl, he's not going to let his team take the foot off the gas right now. They want that number 1 seed. In the AFC, all roads go to Foxborough. If you want to go to the Super Bowl this year out of the American Football Conference, I think New England's gonna exercise some demons here.
Yeah, but like they say in stocks, you want to buy low, sell high. And I don't see the Patriots getting any higher than this as far as their value. And this might be Joe Flacco's, who knows, might be his last start of his career. So yeah, he's going to be out there slinging the ball around. I don't know. Bengals are not going to win this game, but I just think it's going to be, I think they're going to cover the number, whatever that number ends up being.
Listen, this can't be Joe Flacco's last start, okay? He has to complete the AFC North Infinity Stone, okay? He has to sign with the Pittsburgh Steelers next season, and you know Aaron Rodgers is going to get hurt. He's going to miss a game, and Joe Flacco will have to start for the Pittsburgh Steelers, completing the AFC North Infinity Stone, okay? He's been a Raven. He's been a Bengal. He's been a Brown twice over. He has to complete the Infinity Stone. What do you get, by the way, if you play for all 4 AFC North teams? Someone should just give him like a rusted piece of a steel factory where jobs used to be in those cities, and just give that to him.
Yeah, actually, I could see that happening. if Aaron Rodgers even comes back. Because who knows what happens with that guy? He says he wants to come back, but I don't think he knows what he wants. And
Yeah,
yeah, I could totally see Flacco going to the Steelers next year.
it has to happen. I
But yeah,
decree it.
yeah, I can see it happening.
Oh, all right. So that'll do it for my NFL picks. Let's get to our underdog parlay this week. Brought to you by absolutely no one. We're using FanDuel Sportsbook this week. We got old Buster here. He needs some treats. He needs that Bark Box, Scotty. Black Friday's coming up. Which, by the way, Bark Box, Chewy, whoever it is, you want to sponsor, get Buster some treats, info at let's not do this podcast.com. Especially with Black Friday coming up, you got to look out for your four-legged friends there. Look at him. He deserves some toys and some biscuits, and some treats. Let's
get
him something.
Yeah, let's get that dog food and sports betting crossover.
There we go. Hey, Americans love to gamble and Americans love their dogs. It's a match made in heaven. In fact, you know what? I shouldn't say this on the air because someone will steal my idea. We should come out with a sports book for dogs. You know, like have something like on their collar where they like bark and it's like, oh, Bengals +7. You know, it's like put that in. Let your dog bet with you. You know,
they already kind of have. There's somebody that does the thing where they have like 2 baskets. They do it for basketball mainly, and the dog hits it into the basket. Yeah.
Yeah, Mark Davis, formerly not the NBA referee, but formerly of NBC 12 here in Richmond. I believe he's on News Channel 3 there in the Hampton Roads. Mark Davis does a thing with high school football each week where he puts the dog food out and with each team's logo on there and see which team his dog goes for that week for his high school football picks. I thought that's a good bit there.
Speaking of local high school, the high school that's closest to me right now was on ESPN on SportsCenter top plays last night. The walk-off pick 6. So that was pretty cool.
There we go. And I had a friend that was shooting that game for television, and apparently he missed it because he threw up on the sideline. So, big night for that local high school. Big night for that janitor too.
All kinds of shit going on.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, let's see what Buster can conjure up for us this week, and it starts with you, Scotty. UT San Antonio, the Roadrunners +108. The fact that UTSA is on this tells me that they must be playing at home.
Yep, that's exactly where I'm going. I thought that number was higher. I must have came down. Yeah, smart people must have been agreeing with me. I was looking at Cincinnati, but I'm kind of biased to Cincinnati this year for whatever reason.
Wait, Cincinnati as in the Bearcats or the Bengals?
The Bearcat.
Okay.
The Bearcats, yes. And also kind of biased against BYU on the road. So it's like, maybe I'll leave that one out. I might still bet it. But UTSA at home against ECU. Just talked about selling teams at their highest. ECU's, I think, won 4 in a row. So they're due for a letdown. UTSA at home, their offense has been playing better as of late. So give me UTSA.
Hey, if you're going to go into the fortress that is the Alamo Dome and tangle with the Roadrunners, meet, you better come ready. And by the way, I hate the Pirates, Wolfpack fan. So I'm all. Anytime I can bet against East Carolina, I'm all good for that, Scotty. So UTSA, let's go Roadrunners. Next up on my card here, I got the Indianapolis Football Colts at +152. You and I are going opposite ways on this. I know you took Kansas City to cover for your pick. Listen, the Colts are being disrespected here. And I think, they're smart people in Las Vegas as to how they got all the big hotels and casinos and stuff. I don't know what this is telling people that the 5-5 Chiefs are better. I know Daniel Jones has turned the ball over a little bit there, but they had this guy called, Jonathan Taylor. He scores 3 touchdowns before he has his Wheaties in the morning. The Colts had the number 1 offense in the NFL. They're averaging 32 points a game, like 396 yards of total offense. Jonathan Taylor, by the way, 5.3 yards per carry. He's got over 1,100 yards rushing, 15 touchdowns. Over the last 3 games, he's averaging 6 yards a pop, 244 yards. And their running attack has just been phenomenal against Kansas City as well. So Kansas City giving up, I think, like 4.8 yards pop, I want to say, rushing at home, their defense. So, yeah, Jonathan Taylor is going to go off and have a big one here. And by the way, fourth down conversions, if this gets to be a late situation, Indianapolis is 81%. That's best in the NFL. And coming off of a bye week, Shane Steichen teams are 5-1 against the spread. They got fresh legs. Kansas City's gassed from that Denver loss. Yeah, give me the Colts to go into Arrowhead and quiet the crowd there, and all the Swifties can go back to whatever they were doing before because they're going to stop caring about football when this team goes under 500. So, yeah, give me the Indianapolis football Colts to get that win there.
Yeah, I mean, I could easily be wrong about the Chiefs. Wouldn't be the first time.
By the way, aesthetically, beautiful uniform matchup. Just want to put that out there. The Colts and the Chiefs, timeless. And then Chris bringing up the rear here with the Atlanta Falcons plus 114. No Michael Penix. He is out for the year, but Chris riding with Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, no Drake London. This is a weird one for me because just looking at it, I agree. But it's like the Saints are favored.
Yeah.
Usually when you're like, what are they doing as favorites? That team wins. Yeah, I don't know. I think the Falcons are still better. But Kirk hasn't looked good. Maybe he turns it around this week. Yeah, Falcons got to beat the Saints as an underdog, right? Who are the Saints to be favorites?
Yeah, it has to be a 1-2. I'd imagine you're going to see a heavy 1-2 punch of Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier. Maybe they just want to ground and pound their way through. They just have to beat the Saints. Just have to. Yeah. I don't hate this. It just doesn't make sense. I've spent no time looking at this game whatsoever, but just looking at the eye test, New Orleans being favored against anyone outside of, maybe Louisiana Lafayette or Louisiana Monroe doesn't make sense to me. So, yeah. Give me the Falcons as well with Chris there. So, we're going to put those together into a parlay here on the FanDuel Sportsbook. That's going to be 10-21 of those odds. And if Chris gets a $100 bill from a customer, if someone decides to tip at McDonald's this morning, maybe one of those old guys that gets their black coffee and their biscuit and they sit in there and read the newspaper for 4 hours at McDonald's, if one of those guys gives Chris a $100 bill because he takes pity on him and he bets this on the FanDuel Sportsbook, what does that $100 pay you out?
$1,021.
That's
a new job for Chris.
There we go. It's gonna be like that scene in Waiting, is it Waiting? Yeah, it is Waiting, where the guys come into order and the waiter's taking down the orders. Yeah. And he's like, hey, you're not writing this down. Yeah. And he gives him like the card for New Steakhouse.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the scene where he leaves him like $100 tip.
Oh, no.
Same
you're
movie. But,
you're talking about getting a new job. And he's like, yeah, you're not writing this down. He's like, oh, steel trap. Maybe he'll impress one of those old guys and he'll end up working at their auto parts store, sweeping the floor or something, So. Good on Chris. Hopefully he brings some egg McMuffins back after breakfast is over there. All right, 10:21 on the FanDuel Sportsbook here, and look out on social media. I was supposed to record a Getting Loose with Leon podcast a little bit earlier this week. I'm not going to lie to you. I was just tired and burnt out, so I didn't do it. And it also gave me an opportunity to go back in the lab and study a little bit for my Las Vegas Grand Prix picks. So I will put those up on social media. Check out our social media and also Getting Loose with Leon social media. Of course, that race tonight, 11 p.m. there on the Strip in Las Vegas, the street circuit there. Going to be a little colder. We'll see how the tire degradation does there. Also, they had some issues with a manhole cover in one of the practice rounds, and it was raining yesterday during qualifying, which made things a little bit interesting here. But should be an interesting Las Vegas Grand Prix. Lando Norris on the pole. He cannot win the championship this week, but he can certainly put himself in a very good situation with 3 races left on the F1 calendar. So I will put my picks up for the Las Vegas GP, which could possibly have a surprise podium participant for me this week. A little teaser out there. So are you going to come over to my F1 watch party at 11 o'clock tonight, Scotty?
No, probably not. No, nothing about F1, but I did see that they bought out or paid a lot of the restaurants around there to not be open. because they have like great views of the track.
Yes.
They're all closed down.
If
That
there's
sucks.
one thing F1 does is protect their product. I've never been to Vegas, so I don't know the name of that bridge, but there's like a bridge between like one of the hotels, whatever, and there's like a views where you can see. Last year they put up film, and apparently people were able to pull this film back so they could see. This year they just said fuck it. They put up like a black barrier type thing. I'm sure there's some entrepreneurial person's going to have a hammer and a sickle or a screwdriver or something and put some holes in this thing to try to sneak a peek. But yeah, it'll be interesting taking a look there. 11 p.m. start time, man. But hey, I'll be
It's
watching that.
Vegas.
Yeah, it is in Vegas. You try to hit that international window too, so people in Europe and China and everything can watch too. And you can set that up on YouTube TV, Scotty. And you got what, San Jose State, San Diego State at 10:30 on FS1, and Bronco Mendenhall's Utah State team heading to the Valley, taking on Fresno State at 10:30. And also on NBC, you got Washington at UCLA at 10:30. So that's a nice little 4-screen avenue for you there on the YouTube TV.
Yeah,
I know I will be doing that.
If I can get the race on the multi-view, I might check it out.
Boom. There we go. That's all we can ask. We're converting people slowly to F1, one race at a time. All right. That's going to do it for today. For Let's Not Do This, a podcast doing lines. It's the name of this show, actually. But we'll be back here. We're still plotting out next week. Of course, next week is Thanksgiving week. I know we have families and various engagements and things to do. So keep an eye on our social media, what our schedule will be. We'll definitely, at the minimum, put our picks up. If we don't do a show on Wednesday, we're still working out the back end scheduling with that, but we'll definitely have picks for Thanksgiving Day football for the NFL, and also college football early in the week. There's some good games. I believe the Egg Bowl is Friday. Isn't the Egg Bowl Friday?
Maybe. Does Lane Kiffin know when the Egg Bowl is?
Lane Kiffin may be getting his purple and gold merchandise for LSU and getting ready to make an announcement party at Fred's or something like that.
So real quick, how crazy is it for LSU to be finalizing an offer right now? Are they just being assholes?
That whole process with LSU just makes no sense. They officially have fired Brian Kelly instead of the buyout language after Brian Kelly came back out. Yeah, they haven't paid him. You got the governor getting involved, and it is a mess down there. If you're Lane Kiffin, why would you want to walk into that hornet's nest of a mess? I know it's a lot of money, but you've built something there in Oxford, and you're going to have to answer to a lot of people, including the governor apparently at LSU, whereas at Ole Miss, no one answers to you. Lane Kiffin could run for governor of Mississippi right now, and he'd win outside of that little circle that we call Starkville. They're not going to vote for him. But other than that, he would be governor of Mississippi and probably be governor of Mississippi for a long time if he wanted to. So
yeah, we'll see what he does.
Yeah, we'll see. He's got to be staying. You don't make an announcement like this unless you're going to stay, right?
I don't really read into it one way or the other. I think it just become too much of a distraction. They had to put something out either way.
You think he's going to go out there with a hat, like a high school signing day, and he's got an Ole Miss hat, he's got a Florida hat, he's got an LSU hat, and then just for shits and giggles, he's got an Arkansas hat, maybe because, maybe Tyson Foods comes through and Jerry Jones comes through with some money for Arkansas.
He's going to wear a NCAA hat, Rob Lowe style.
There we go. Hey, there was that one time at the mall during COVID where he was waiting on his daughters doing some shopping, and he was rocking an NC State hat. Maybe Dave Dorn rides off into the sunset and he fulfills his daddy's legacy and comes back to Raleigh. Who knows?
Don't see that happening, but who knows? James Franklin's at Virginia Tech. Who knows what can happen?
Yeah, anything is possible. Thank you, Kevin Garnett. Speaking of anything is possible, I'm about to go watch my West Ham United try to win another soccer match. Almost said football like a proper Brit. So anything is possible. Maybe we won't get relegated. Yeah. We'll see you next week.
Put these bets in. Let's make some money.
Later.